Hey guys, we're back and it's episode 3, and I couldn't be more excited because today we're going to talk about writing with confidence. Some of you guys may have had this difficulty of writing about your profile on LinkedIn or your profile on Instagram or your section on your about me section, on your website and all of those things. And you're like, I don't know how to write about myself. And if you're frustrated at that, I want you to stick around today because we're going to talk about 5 tips for you to pump up your confidence so that you can get writing your about section so well. Ready? But first, if you want to learn how to own your work and get paid your worth as a multi-passionate creative, I want you to hit that subscribe button and that bell so that you're notified every time I come out with a new video on Wednesdays. Look, I have had to write so many different about me sections. I have been an opera singer, then I went into being an entrepreneur, finance, management consulting, and then now I'm here standing in front of you, and having to write about myself has been a bit of a daunting process, but I want to break that down for you and help you understand what are some 5 major tips that you can use so that you're not stuck in this state of, oh my God, I have nothing good to say about myself, because in fact, you do. You have so much amazing talents and gifts because you're a badass essentially. So I'm gonna give you 5 tips right now. And the first tip is pick out your fight song and play it on full blast. Now you can put these in your earphones or you can just blast it out through your house, whatever it is. Pick your fight song. This is a song that gets you super amped. It's the one that makes you just want to go rah, 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 and turns you from couch potato to oh my God, I feel amazing, right? And you pick this fight song and you listen to it and you own it. Mine personally is original. It's in the Dr. Dolittle soundtrack, and Sia actually sings it. She's one of my favorite musicians. And so I love the lyrics about it because it's about being original and not following just what everybody else does and letting other people bring you down, right? And so I listen to this and it helps me get into a mindset of just, wow, I am gonna own this, right? So tip number 1, put on your fight song before you do any writing. Tip number 2 is take out a dry erase marker, and if you don't have one, go to Staples or put it in your Amazon cart and just get some dry erase markers, and go to your bathroom mirror. Yes, go to your bathroom mirror, and I want you to write everything that you can think of that you can brag about yourself. And the key to this is, yes, it does erase. Dry erase does erase on mirrors. I've done it 1,000 times. So what you want to do is you want to brag like your life depends on it, okay? Somebody is forcing you to brag like your life depends on it. And if you need permission, which you absolutely don't ever need permission to talk well about yourself, I'm gonna give you the permission, and you're gonna give yourself the permission to brag like your life depends on it. You are in the bathroom, nobody else is looking, okay? Or so we think, and you're just gonna write on the mirror, and you are gonna see yourself standing in between all the things that you've written, yeah? So tip number 2, brag like your life depends on it with that dry erase marker in front of the mirror. Tip number 3, which is kind of in conjunction with tip number 2, they go hand in hand really well, is take nothing for granted. And I can rephrase that actually. Take nothing that you do for granted. Your skills that you have, the way that you do it, nobody can copy how you do it. And that includes how you make your coffee, believe it or not, okay? So it might be a skill that you have, which is as big as speaking in front of an audience of 10,000, or it might be the way that you froth your milk in the morning. I know how to make a damn good latte and nobody else can do it like me. And I'm proud of that, right? And so if you think about the little skills, and don't take anything that you do for granted, because what you do and how you do it is yours alone, okay? So tip number 3, this is great while you're writing things down and as you're flowing, but also really cool to do along with the mirror exercise. So take nothing that you do for granted. Whatever you wrote in the mirror, I want to know. So please, this is your opportunity to brag like your life depends on it. Comment in the section below and let us know, what are you proud of? Brag away, friends. Now, tip number 4 is to take everything that you've bragged about and write it 5 different ways so that a kindergartner can understand you, okay? So what does this mean is that if you said that you are a really good listener, okay, that you're really, really good at listening to people, is think about how many different ways you can explain this to a kindergartner, because a kindergartner, frankly, might be like, what does it mean to be a good listener, right? And so that might translate in is that you're really good at asking people questions. You're really good at just making really understanding when people are having complex problems, or you're really compassionate, or you're non-judgmental when you listen to people. And so, yes, I know those words are a little bit more than kindergarten level, but you get my point, which is you're really explaining it in such a way that is so simple. And the more that you're able to communicate in these different ways and a variety, you'll see like, oh, wow, that sounds really interesting in how I do this. I really like the way I'm phrasing this. And then once you have that down, you might start to see this trend of phrases that come up that really resonate with you. And again, you don't need to in any part of this exercise to censor yourself. Remember, we gave ourselves the permission to brag like our life depends on it. Okay, so keep doing that throughout this entire practice. Tip number 5. This one is actually one of my favorite exercises to do, and it's not just limited to writing confidently about myself, but also when I'm not feeling that great and I'm being really hard on myself. So tip number 5 is write down a list, write down an inventory of all the new things that you've learned in the last 5 years. So one of the things for me was that I learned how to light better when it comes to film, right? Because for me, I'm a photographer, so lighting is a little bit more static for me. But you know, in film, you know, it's a little bit different. So I learned that new skill. That's a technical skill, and there are also a lot of soft skills that I had learned as well that I'm really proud of over the last 5 years. One of them is, in fact, having the confidence to get up in front of the camera. Normally I'm behind the camera, so like I'm pretty proud of myself for getting in front of the camera, just like I am right now. And so there are all these new things that I've done since 2015. And believe you me, 2015 was actually the year that I left my corporate job. So I've had to learn so much. And when you narrow down what it is that you've learned so much of and about, it's like demonstrating that you really care about your growth, and in what areas do you notice that you've been growing. Has it been in a certain particular subject? For me, I had to learn how to essentially promote myself and to really believe in my work as an artist. I understood that as, you know, prior to being in photography, I really understood what value I brought to the table as a management consultant, right, in corporate work. And then now having to switch over, right? So it's developing these new muscles. And then over that time, this is the cool part, is that what I realized from learning all these things is that I've made progress. And progress is, you know, if anything, you're doing anything in life, is so brag-worthy. It is so brag-worthy because we care about progress over perfection any day. You know, it demonstrates that you are just ready to keep moving forward and you're growing. And that is something you, honey, I give you high fives all the time for that. So now you have all the things that you need to be a confident pro at writing about yourself. Get that LinkedIn profile finally done. Share all of the things, you know, that you love to talk about yourself on your website and wherever else. Maybe this might help you put together your next script for your YouTube video. Whatever it is, brag like your life depends on it. Yeah, get out that dry erase marker and write. This is a great thing to do every single morning. Do it while you have your fight song on, and think about the last 5 years. Yeah, you know how much you've grown, everything that you've learned from all that time, man. And I know today that if you are standing here, or not me, well, standing, but if you're watching this, then I know that you have the courage, you have the chutzpah, I guess you could say, is you have the courage to just keep going forward and to become the great you that you are meant to be. So I wish you good luck. If you would like to continue to get more tips on how to really craft your personal brand and to own your multi-passionate creative self, I want you to hit that subscribe button. And by the way, there's another thing that I just added recently is that I have this thing called the Ikigai Score Guide. And if you don't know your Ikigai score, download it. It's free. So I can't wait to see you guys next week, and peace.